In Ecuador's northern Sierra, each valley is a partially insulated pocket with its own unique character. The terrain and weather change drastically every couple of kilometers you make it down any given highway, and so do the cultures. Ecuador, for being such a small country compared with even its neighbors, is one of the more diverse places on the planet. For this reason, there's never any shortage of things to explore. Last week, I took a trip just south of Ibarra into the valley of Angochagua for a bit of camping and waterfall hunting. I met up with Emerson Obando, proprietor of an eco-tourist hostel in La Esperanza, El Refugio de la Esperanza, and a pair of 30-somethings vacationing from Quito, and we set out late that afternoon into Angochagua to locate a certain cave in which to spend the night. In order to first gain access to the land, we had to first stop and ask permission from the owners of a home in the area, both to make ourselves known as non-threatening eco-tourists, as well as to have a place to leave the car. We all went to bed fairly quickly after dinner. The next morning, emerging from the smoky, cozy cave, we encountered a clear view of the surrounding Rocky Mountains with their pale green grass, and the tranquil valley town stretching out below. Two farmers make their way up a narrow mountain path to check on the cattle, pass below us, and return back down another road. Before long we are off, taking with us our bags, following a thin path from the cave into a place where the valley narrows, the road disintegrates, and plant life really begins to let you know who's boss. The water in the stream is pure, or nearly enough. Some of the fish are visible. While we are still in the gaze of the sun, it glimmers brightly on the water, and its heat balances the mountain breeze, which would otherwise be too chilly to enjoy. And as we make our way into the thick, leaving our bags in the underbrush beyond the path, the coolness of the air ceases to matter because from here on up, it's a constant incline, making our built-in heaters get fast to work. We encounter little resistance from the endless veils of vines and tree limbs as we make our way up along the edges of the stream, hopping over slip rocks and pushing aside overgrowth. Our city friends ask Emerson if this all wouldn't be a lot easier if we had brought a machete, to which he correctly replies, that would ruin the experience. The presence of the vegetable world here, both physically as well as otherwise, is tangible, breathable, understandable. The feel of the moss and the wet rocks, having to climb over them on all fours at times in order to gain the best traction, while constantly crisscrossing the little river, remind me of childhood when agility was paramount, and you realize that just like riding a bike, the feeling comes back every time you let it. So after passing the greater part of the day on the ascent, we finally make it to the waterfall through one last tangle of roots, branches, and earth. It is perhaps 15 or 10 meters tall, a thin, cold rush of life which has made its own clearing in the forest, landing in a small pool with rock walls with a lone log leaning vertically against the bare, wet mountainside. Emerson and I take a moment to pay our respects by stripping down to our underpants and immersing ourselves in the downpour, briefly, and quickly stepping out again because the internal hypothermia alarms were screeching like pigs awaiting a slaughter. My ribs felt like they were about to burst through my chest. Invigorating nonetheless. The city slickers in turn make their way towards the fall after a few Nutella sandwiches and other snacks, but neglect to get in. We all spend a little while taking everything in, fending off evil stinging mosquitoes, allowing the sun to warm us back up, and snapping a few photos. And then it is off again, for the afternoon is rapidly progressing, and we want to make it back before it is too late. The descent is naturally much quicker than the ascent, and soon my bag and jacket are in front of me and we are making our way back through town. Our host, upon our arrival back at the car, greets us, and we chat some about whether or not bears can still be found in these parts, which he assures us they can. It's just that they have developed a fear of humanity and rarely show themselves. We thank him gratefully for his hospitality, pass him a few bucks for the wood we took from his shed, and are soon back on the road, watching the land change and Imbabura appear again from around the bend. Alejandro Cordero, El Norte Online.